How's it going, everybody? This is Craig Bush Rocks. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the Nintendo Switch 2 today. Wow, a lot of stuff coming out for the Switch 2. I'm watching that Doug Bowser interview, and yeah, I don't know what Nintendo's thinking right now, but I hope they're making the right decisions about all this with the price and everything. But I keep hearing rumors about the controllers not going to have Hall effect sensors. So it's not going to have that magnetic type deal there for the controller, so we don't get drift. But supposedly it's supposed to be a better controller, but we'll find out. Which that was not a smart decision. They should have thought about that when they designed the Switch 2. At least try to put Hall effect controllers in it. I've got probably about 5 pairs of these, maybe 6 pairs of these Wii controllers, just dead ones, just because of the stick drift. What I use is this is a aftermarket. I don't have a pro controller for my Switch. I just got this pretty neat, nice little controller right here. It works pretty good, but that's what I use, and this was cheap. But yeah, listen to Doug Bowser and the interviewer asking him about the price of it, if they're prepared for the tariffs and all that. No, $450 is pretty much the normal price for the Switch 2 and stuff like that. So I don't know. Then again, probably include the tariffs. The problem I have with the Switch 2 price and the prices of games, because he also said the game prices are based on a game to game type deal there. For each game is going to be a different price point. I don't know what Nintendo's thinking. But I'm going to go back to the Wii when that came out for $250, I think that was. I should look it up, but it was cheap. You want to know why that one sold millions and millions of units with shovelware and everything else? Because of the price point, when all the other systems, like PlayStation 3 or 4, whatever came out around that time, and Xbox, those are for the gamers out there, the hardcore gamers that play like Assassin's Creed, Gears of War, and stuff like that. It was for a different audience. The Wii was for an audience like a family with kids and everything. A family. Okay, I got 3 kids, I got 4 kids. I'm gonna buy a Wii. Maybe I'll buy 2 Wiis. Grandparents bought a Wii and stuff like that. All right. Which made it confusing when the Wii U came out, because they didn't advertise it right, because it was Wii U. They thought it was like an attachment, and that's why it didn't sell so on. Didn't get a whole lot of third-party support. But when the original Switch came out, it was unique. There was no Steam Deck, I don't think, at the time, but there was no really proper handheld out in the wild and stuff like that to pretty much play your games on. But so the Switch came out, it sold like hotcakes, and it's been out for 8 years. But what really cemented that Switch to sell millions of units when we had a pandemic in 2020 and people were staying at home and playing games like Animal Crossing. I was one of those people that was playing Animal Crossing, put many hours into that game. But now we're going up to we got like a Ally Go region, Ally, whatever, all these handhelds. I got a Steam Deck, and the prices are similar around all the consoles. I think the Steam Deck was the cheapest one out of all of them. But then you got Switch 2 was coming out with a $450 price point, $80 games and stuff like that, and they're justifying that price. They're not going to change it. And that pack-in game is like $9.99 or something like that. The game that should be free, $9.99. Now they're pretty much pricing out families now. Another screw up by Nintendo. Now I could be wrong. I could be dead wrong on this one. But because eventually I will get the Switch 2, because but I am kind of ticked off and a little bit like, whatever, man, come on, Nintendo, what are you doing here? I like to have Nintendo be successful with the Switch 2, and it could be successful, but what I have a feeling what's going to happen is people like the normal people, like grandparents, moms and dads that wants to get stuff for their kids and stuff like that. You got a brother and sister, they both want their own Switch 2. when the Switch came out, I think it was $350. Um, but the reason why that sold, because it was a unique product at the time, being a handheld hybrid and stuff like that. But we're in a different market now, so yeah, it's going to be a lot different when they do decide to get the pre-orders. Now the pre-orders are probably going to sell out pretty quickly, anyways. They always do, and then they're going to go up on eBay for $600 to $800, over $1,000, and that's going to be pretty ludicrous too. So, yeah, we might have a problem with drifts, stick drift, and Nintendo's going to justify the price. I can see it now. Families ain't going to be able to afford the Switch 2. They're gonna probably hold out and see what happens. And the biggest problem that the Switch has, they don't really put sales on their first party games. If you're gonna price your handheld that high, you might want to reevaluate, at least your digital part of the games there, about how much you're going to charge for them. So one thing about the Steam Deck, people always rag on the Steam Deck, but I play that Steam Deck all the time, but that's because I got a library of over 600, 500 games or something like that on the Steam Deck. But like, I just bought Burnout Paradise Remastered Edition for like a couple of bucks. Yeah. But you can see where I'm going with this. It's like if Nintendo's going to be pricing that high, they might want to try to get the games lowered. But at the same time, it's like the hardcore gamers that are into Switch type kid games. I mean, don't get me wrong. They'll sell their Mario Karts. They'll sell their fighting games and everything else. But when it comes down to brass tacks, yeah, what a niche saying I gotta say there, but when it comes right down to it, are they gonna sell enough systems pretty much for everybody? You think the grandparents are gonna want to spend that much money on that? They're gonna look at that as like, oh, I think I'll just go get the original Switch, and eventually that's gonna be phased out. They will support the original Switch at least for another year or so, but when they stop manufacturing the original Switch, and all you got is a Switch 2. And Nintendo, like I said, I think in my previous video, Switch is not going to lower their prices. They're not going to do that. Normally PlayStation would lower their prices, but they didn't. What's going to happen? You think the Gears of War person, the Call of Duty person, the person that plays those games is going to go out and buy the Switch 2? Maybe. I was like, even I'm hesitating, and I'm a gamer. I was like, man, is there anything on that Switch 2 that I really, really, really need? I like it. Believe me, I do. I like it. But at the same time, I gotta justify the fact that how much they're charging. Is it gonna be viable? In the long run, it's like, is it gonna be another Wii U type launch? Seems like Nintendo's like, they get a good console, then they get a bad console. But see, NES was awesome, Super NES was awesome, and 64 kind of teetered along. GameCube kind of teetered along. They did all right, but I think the Wii was probably one of their best consoles besides the Switch. The Switch was awesome, but man, watching that Doug Bowser interview, I was like, why? Why? If I can remember, I'll try to link that interview down in my the description there. Since I'm watching it right now, so I have to look at that and see if I can. I'll share it. But yeah, you guys can watch it, then you guys can determine that too. But I just heard a rumor about the controller it's not going to be Halo Effect. They're going to be just a better controller. We'll see. But yeah, enough rant about the Switch 2, but we'll see when it comes out. I'm still determined if I'm going to get it or not. We'll find out. But if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give me a thumbs down. Comment down below. Have you watched this interview yet? Let me know in the comments below what you think about the whole ordeal about the Switch 2 being might price out maybe the common family out there, just let me know in the comments below. And make sure you subscribe, hit the bell icon. I get my new lights tomorrow. Hopefully they'll get here tomorrow, so it'll be a little bit brighter in here. Yeah, kind of killing me right now not having them. But all right, I'll check you out in the next video, everybody. Bye. Fun times.